Hello everyone, I'm Louise and welcome to 40s Plus Mom Movement. Today I wanted to talk about something that is very dear to my heart, and it is my journey to motherhood. Now this is a little bit intimate, as you can tell from just the pictures that were shown after, the page opened up and you kind of seen some of the pictures. Well, that's why I call it intimate, because this is something that I have never shared with anyone, of course publicly that is. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey and my experience, because having a child is basically a great experience. It's a major experience because it changes you totally. For the whole time that you are with child, your whole life changes, even from the first week all the way to the 20th week. Your life totally changes. You become a total different person, and life for you just begins to evolve into a whole different direction. So I wanted to tell you all something about me, and that is that I know that I am in my 40s, and I told you before that I never had an option, or was never an option for me when I was younger, to even have children, because I was excuse me, I was busy living my life. I was busy, working in my career. I was a teacher, an educator, and once you're an educator, you can never stop being an educator. So that was pretty much my whole life. I was always teaching somebody else's child. I was always surrounded by children. I am an auntie. I have a host of nieces and nephews. And so I've always been surrounded by children, but I've never had my own. So here I am now experiencing the greatest gift that, has been given to me as a woman, is to have my own child. So I just wanted to talk about a little bit about my journey and into motherhood, to motherhood, because it is definitely a journey. It's not always easy, but it was an excellent journey for me. So before I even get into that, I wanted to tell you all that I had actually experienced pregnancy, which is amazing. In 2016, June of 2016, I was actually pregnant. My first time ever getting pregnant. I have never been pregnant in my life before. My 40s. I mean, even when I was younger, people sometimes don't plan to have children, but it happens anyway. But I had never been pregnant before in my life until I got into my 40s. That's awesome, right? But so anyway, let me get back to the topic. I had actually become pregnant in June the 9th, because I always put everything on the calendar. June the 9th of 2016, I had gotten pregnant. And so I was excited, but that also wasn't planned. I was excited at the same time, nervous, because I didn't know what to expect, with pregnancy, being an older woman. And so my body started changing. I started getting the morning sickness. I went to the store, started, looking into prenatal pills. I talked to my sister. She's already had 5 beautiful children. So I was talking to her about, what should I do, what type of pills, until I had to go for I believe it was my 8 or 10 week checkup. So, they can confirm the pregnancy. So what happened was, when I was, still coming along with the weeks in 2016, I actually had went to my appointment, and they found no sign of a pregnancy. There was no heartbeat. The sonogram showed nothing. There was no baby. And I couldn't understand that, because my body has still been changing, but yet they couldn't find a baby. So that, to me alone, was very devastating. It was a very devastating experience, because I had this whole excitement now, like, I'm about to be a mother. I've never been a mom. I've always been an aunt. I've been a teacher, but here I am about to be a mother. And so to have that, it was devastating. Like, I cried and cried, you all. I cried my eyes out. And it wasn't just devastating for me, it was devastating also for my child's father. It was devastating because neither of us had ever had kids. And so To hear that there's no baby, no heartbeat, it was devastating. It kind of made me still, I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know if I ever wanted to try again because I was thinking, well, maybe I used to always joke with my mother and say, these dinosaur eggs, ain't nothing coming out of here. I would say my, eggs were dinosaurs because I'm older. I wasn't thinking about that, about children. So that was devastating for me. And so I just continue living my life, still teaching, and then I was a workout fanatic, like spin classes, aqua boot camp, me name it. I love exercise. I was big into health, so I kind of rearranged my life in the beginning because I found this extraordinary news out that I was pregnant back in June of 2016. And then to have that all happen, it was a crash in reality for me. So I just continued with life, and then as I said, me getting pregnant happened in a time in my life where there was a lot of things going on. It was a whole lot of changes going on in my life, financially, physically. And so here it comes again, the same month, June again, 2017, a whole year later. And then here it is again, I'm with child. There was an excitement, there was a fear, because I did not want the same thing to happen that happened to me a year ago. I started to say, Lord, why is it that I'm back in the same month with another, hopefully baby, and I couldn't stand to lose my child. I mean, it was, even though the baby hadn't yet taken total form and I couldn't feel the movements a year ago, it was still devastating. And that experience I didn't want to relive if it wasn't going to happen. But fortunately, it did, and I am so excited that it did. So I just kind of want to talk about my experience because it has been an experience. It has been a journey to motherhood for me, and it is exciting. The first thing I want to say is that I was not. I had a beautiful pregnancy. I mean, it was. I didn't have the cravings like everybody else had, the weird cravings. I didn't experience that. Um, I didn't have morning sickness bad. I would get it sometimes, but I didn't have morning sickness a whole lot. I didn't. It was amazing. I didn't have that. I did not have just a whole bunch of swelling of like my feet and things like that a lot of women can experience during pregnancy. I didn't have those things. I had an amazing pregnancy, and the thing that got scary was that, you meet with the doctor and they're like, well, you're high risk. So I had to have I was at perinatology. They was doing all these tests, making sure the baby was going to be normal, making sure the baby wasn't going to have Down syndrome, because, they do say that when you're older, your child can, possibly be born with Down syndrome, or your child can have this and that. Let me tell you all something. Don't let anybody tell you what your child can have, because that will scare the daylights out of you. It scared me. It scared me because I did not know what to expect, but I believed in my heart that God was going to bless me with a perfectly healthy baby girl. Well, in my brain, I always wanted a girl. I did not even know what I was having. And I didn't know what I was having until the day of my actual baby shower. I wanted to be surprised. So my fiance, he found out what I was having. He found out. I didn't. I told him to keep it a secret from me because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know what I was having. I wanted to be surprised the day of my baby shower. So the weird thing is that everybody knew what I was having except for me. But it's funny because my nieces, they kept kind of thinking it was a girl. So they had me believing it was a girl, but I didn't know what I was having. But if I had a boy, I would have been happy. If I would, but I had a girl. But I've always wanted a girl in my heart. Yes, I've always wanted to be a mom of a girl. And so God gave me that ability, blessed me with a beautiful daughter. And so with all that being said, I went to all my appointments, oh my gosh, so much blood they draw from your body. I didn't even know I had that much blood in me. They run you for everything, test after test after test. I was just so tired of getting stuck with needles. I didn't know what to do. But I understood that it was important. And I understood that it had to do with me having a smooth pregnancy. And so throughout my whole pregnancy, towards the third trimester is when I already knew that I was going to get induced. I already knew that because I was high risk. And so I knew I was going to get induced maybe my 39th week. It was already planned. So I already knew about that. So anyway, So anyway, I lost my train of thought, but I'm getting back on it. So after all of that, knowing getting induced, staying with the appointment, I had a great support. I mean, my father, my honey bun, he was by my side every appointment. He never missed any appointments. You know, he made sure that I was pretty much doing what I was supposed to be doing. He was with every appointment. You know, everything I needed, anything I needed, he was there. And that made a difference because I not only had the support of my family, but I had the support of this amazing man in my life. And so that was an awesome thing to have because not everybody can have it. But I never had ever told anybody that my fear that I always had was when it was time to deliver. You know, you hear the stories about delivery, you hear so many horror stories about the delivery, you hear it about what can happen, how some women don't make it through delivery. And I even just see the statistics just for an African American woman, 243% of African American women don't even make it through. There's complications, some die. And so I was afraid. You know, I had a fear. But I knew that regardless, if it had to come to me or my child, I would rather my child live than me. That's an honest thing because I've always wanted a little me in the world. Somebody that looked like me, somebody who was just like me, you know, and just that came from me. It's such a blessing to have somebody that comes from you, just the DNA and to see the beauty of the child. It's just amazing. But anyway, it was a fear that I had always had with pregnancy. I mean, not with pregnancy, with the labor and delivery because of just the stories. You watch the videotapes, nothing prepares you for labor. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how many videos you watch. I don't care what stories you're told, who tells them to you. You've seen your sister. My sister survived 5 beautiful vaginal deliveries. My mother, beautiful, 6 kids. My sister, she had 2 beautiful kids. And the other thing I did not want was a cesarean. You know, I wanted to be the mom who was going to push the baby out. I was determined with my hospital tours. I made sure I wanted to make sure that I was going to have the best delivery and the best time. And I don't know, but I was still afraid. I was really afraid. So anyway, I actually had, as I got, you know, a little further in my pregnancy, the third, and it got closer and closer. I remember I started getting a little paranoid, you know, because my baby was active. She was kicking. She was always active and moving. And so I would be like, oh, she's not moving. I don't feel her. I don't feel her. Uh-oh. So I had sitting up at not children's hospital, sitting up at the hospital and getting checked out, making sure she's doing great, making sure this and that. And so then I remember I had one night I was in the hospital. I got up there like at midnight and they was doing tests. Okay, she's fine, went back home. And then I think maybe a couple of days later I started again not feeling her move like she's supposed to. Because you know you got to count kicks and do all this. And then that gets even scarier. Because you're like, oh no, is the baby moving? What's she doing? I don't feel her. She usually moves when I drink something cold. She usually does this when I eat something sweet. So if I didn't feel it, I was paranoid. So what I ended up doing was I went back to the doctor. And she was like, you know what? We're going to induce you. My baby's due date was supposed to be March the 5th, 2018. But I didn't get March the 5th because I think of my paranoia. So, you know, your baby's full term. And I was looking at them like, she said, we can induce you today. I was looking at them like, who? Induce me today? I ain't even prepared. I was prepared for a week later. But to induce me today, and I was just terrified. You know, in my mind, I was like, Lord, I just want to make it. I just want to make it through this delivery. I don't know what to expect. I don't know about nothing. So, with all that being said, I went into, you know, I'm not going to name the hospital and things like that. I'm just going to keep telling my journey, my story. And so I went into the delivery room support. My mom was up there. I had my sisters up there. You know, I had her father. He was up there. We were all ready. You know, ready. I was dilating. Everything was going well. Things like that. And then they come in with this epidural. Let me tell you all something. If I ever get an opportunity, and I will say this, if I ever get an opportunity to ever have another baby, I would never get an epidural. That changed everything. I'm telling you, it changed everything. Because I had dilated to 6 centimeters. I was rolling out. I dilated to 6 centimeters. And when I got to 6 centimeters, I decided, well, let me go ahead and get the epidural. I was handling the contractions were coming. They weren't coming real bad yet, but they were still coming. They were kind of strong. But I was handling. I'm tough. I'm thinking I can handle this. Got that epidural, you all. I wish I would have never did it. Because when I got the epidural, it changed everything in that labor, in that delivery room. In that labor, the whole experience changed for me. It kind of went into a nightmare. As soon as I got it, I started feeling sick. I started vomiting. I could not swallow. I just remember closing my eyes and opening them up back up, and there was like 20 people in the room giving me this, giving me that, putting this in IV, trying to get me back there. I heard them say my heartbeat was not heartbeat, that the baby's heartbeat was getting low, that I was getting low, and it was like they was like, look, we know you want to do a vaginal delivery, because in my heart of hearts, I wanted a vaginal delivery. And was like, we know you want a vaginal delivery, but before it becomes an emergency, we're going to have to do a C-section. I was like, oh no. The C word. I didn't want that. I did not want a cesarean. I wanted a vaginal birth. I really wanted, that whole experience. I wanted to push, and I wanted all of that. But I would not risk the life of my child, because I wanted this. So, I went in for the cesarean, and it was pretty quick. Like, it just felt like tugging and pulling, and I didn't really get to see everything, but I got to feel the experience. I got to feel it, and the pulling and the tugging. I was like, what are they doing to me in here? But they delivered the beautiful baby. I heard her cry, and I just remember one of the nurses or the doctor saying to me, you ready to meet your baby? And then when I heard that cry, you all, it just made my heart dance. It just brought a feeling of, my God, my baby is here. I have been with child for all these months, going through these appointments, sitting through all these tests, and nothing compares to that initial first time meeting your child. I mean, it is the most amazing experience that I can ever experience, that any woman can experience, And I know that some women choose not to have kids, and that's fine, because that is your choice, and that's your choice. But for me, and I know for any other mother, that cry, that feeling, that touch, I mean, just to know that you felt the kicks and the movements, but to have that baby in your arms, it is amazing. And so she's totally changed my life. I love her so much, and there is nothing that compares in life to that to me. I mean, just that, to know that I have the ability to bring forth life, and I did it. And I was so terrified, because I just wanted to make it through the delivery. I always had that fear, and that fear came right back to me when all that stuff started happening. I couldn't swallow, and just the vomiting, and I kept throwing up, and I was like, God, is this my end? Am I going to make it? Well, I see who was growing inside of my womb for all these months. Am I going to meet this little girl? And so, needless to say, that his plan was for me to be here and to meet my daughter. And she is so amazing. You all are going to meet her, probably within the next, maybe not if the next video I do, maybe the next one after that. But I just want to introduce her. It probably won't be long, because this is already 18 minutes. I didn't even know I could talk this much. But when something is dear to your heart and you are passionate about something, it doesn't seem like it takes a long time. But anyway, I'm going to close this video, but I did share, just some more. I'm bringing you into the delivery room with me. Of course, it's not really graphic, but it's just a little bit to let you all see just the beauty of what I experienced, and how my journey that was pretty much the entrance or the beginning of my journey. Because now that she's here, now I get to be her mom, the one who was a teacher and a great aunt and an awesome teacher, awesome. It's like that, but the awesome teacher that I am now, and I have my own that I can raise up, to train up a child in a way that she's supposed to go. And it's just amazing. And I just want to thank you all for just listening and just hearing me. And I really want us to digress and talk, and just share your comments, and just let me know of any topics you want to discuss, because I am future wise, I am into health, so I'm going to be encouraging us as mothers just in our later years and our still young and awesome and beautiful mothers, to take care of ourselves, because we want to make sure that our children have a mother for longevity. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and the videos are coming up right after this. But I thank you all for joining me and just letting me tell my story about my journey to motherhood, because it was an important journey and it still is, and it's not even far from over. My baby just turned 9 months and she is busy. This is why I'm going to stay young, because she is going to keep her mother together. Anyway, thank you all. God bless you all. And I will have more great, awesome videos coming. And I look forward to chatting with you. Have a great one. Congratulations.